In this video, we're going to use the marketplace to find and install extra widgets. We covered this briefly in the previous video around how we would do this using Visual Studio Team Services in comparison to how you do this with Team Foundation Server. The main difference was you have to disconnect from your Team Foundation Server instance if you want to install your Visual Studio Team Services, and also how you search. So in this case, you can use the tag to then search directly for just dashboard widgets. However, you might want to install or build your own. So let's quickly go and cover this off. Okay, so directly within here, you might want to create a new widget. And within those widgets, you might want to actually see what extensions you've currently got installed versus what you'd like to also be able to search for. So as you can see, I'm still connected to the Team Foundation Server instance as well as my Visual Studio Team Services. So say for instance we wanted to go off and build our own. First of all, there's an entire SDK that allows you to write an extension to potentially create a new, say for instance, component using cross-platform command line interface, or you may want to create some kind of structure or plugin from an endpoint that you define within, say for instance, simple as JSON. So we're not going to, in this particular video, show how you can actually install and create your own component. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the flexibility you can have around utilizing and searching for the dashboard widgets. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly look at cloud because that's what I'm interested in. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm just going to disconnect this from Team Foundation Server. And then what I'm going to look at is try and search for based on what is the most, say for instance, recently released. And so now I can see which ones have been recently released. And if I click on one of these, what you'll see is that they'll give you a quick description of what the actual capability is. So in this case, if you wanted to look at analytics side of things, you could install this component and then configure it. You're also going to find a link to their website and also some of these flags, these category flags. So in this case, I'm going to use the category flag to go back to dashboard widgets. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for them again and pick one that I'd like to install. If I scroll down and say, for instance, I want to pick something like Octopus, which is a very typical continuous integration, continuous delivery tool that could be combined with your Visual Studio products or your vNext builds. What you can do is you can install this. It's also worth mentioning that you can see the compatibility. So in our case, we're using Visual Studio Team Foundation Server 2018, which is supported. And typically it will go off and look at the other guides where it's got information. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly click get it free. And as you can see, it's now installing that into the Team Services account. I just click install. Now as part of this package, as this will be going into the vNext component, we'll also be able to see the widget directly from here. So I can now uninstall this if I want to, and that will move it from not only this project, but also all the other projects. If I just uninstall another one, that Octopus custom dashboard item is now no longer required. I can delete that. In the next video, we're going to use the works item search to find items that you need.